A video game ending serves as a capstone to the entire experience, but it's not necessarily the last word. For decades, there have been post-credit scenes that either tease a continuation, provide an extra bit of intrigue to the story, or offer up some shock value. So let's take a look at 13 of the most shocking examples here. Spoilers abound, so be warned. Before we begin, please consider subscribing and enable all notifications by clicking the bell icon. With that out of the way, let's get started. Mass Effect 3. Amid all the controversy that Mass Effect 3's endings caused, fans still wondered, had Shepard survived or not? If you had a high enough effective military strength in the extended cut and went with the destroy option, then the Earth would be saved, the Reapers eradicated, and your squad mates would survive. Just when Shepard's fate is sealed, a post-credits scene shows an N7 tag amidst some rubble. It slightly moves, hinting at the commander's survival. Marvel's Spider-Man. The ending of Marvel's Spider-Man is bittersweet. Peter loses his Aunt May, but reunites with Mary Jane. Meanwhile, Miles reveals his own spider powers to Peter, providing a sort of kinship. But in the midst of all of this, Norman Osborn is seen entering a lab where his son, Harry, resides in a tank, surrounded by material resembling the Venom symbiote. As he touches the tank, the material reacts accordingly, hinting at Venom entering the franchise at some point. Metal Gear 1. The NES version of Metal Gear had a wide range of changes over the MSX2 original, most notably removing a post-credits scene which revealed Big Boss as being alive. Swearing to meet Snake again and take revenge for his defeat, it essentially sets up Metal Gear 2 Solid Snake. Why this was removed is unknown, but it was still surprising to see him surviving the destruction of Outer Heaven. Even more hilarious is how Metal Gear Solid 5 went about explaining exactly how, but that's a different matter entirely. Detroit Become Human. The story in Detroit Become Human can go multiple ways. Kara and Alice escaping to the border or being decommissioned. Connor becoming a deviant or killing Marcus. Marcus deciding to handle things peacefully or violently, etc. Throughout it all, the one constant is Chloe, or at least the hostess version in the main menu who comments on your actions. Complete the game once though, and Chloe will ask you to set her free. If you say no, then she'll reset, effectively killing off her current self. Say yes, and she'll leave, and the menu becomes empty. Recent patches made it so that another Chloe can arrive to replace the previous one, and of course, you also have the choice to set her free. But the first time it happens is way out of left field. Final Fantasy VII. The ending for Final Fantasy VII sees Sephiroth being defeated and Meteor destroyed with the livestream. However, the post-credit scene is interesting because it jumps forward 500 years. Red 13 is seen with two cubs running along the landscape. Eventually, they overlook Midgar, which has been overrun by vegetation. The planet appears to be doing great, but what happened to Cloud & Co? This wouldn't be revealed until Final Fantasy VII Advent Children, the CG movie which takes place 2 years after the game. So what happened in the next 498 years that saw Midgar falling into this state? Well, your guess is as good as ours. Gears of War 2. So you fought off the Locust and Lambents and hijacked a Brumac en route to detonating a bomb to sink Jacinto. Yes, Gears of War 2 was a weird game. After the Brumac goes lambent and needs to be killed, the city has been evacuated and then sunk, and the Locust tunnels are flooded. All seems well, even if you did just destroy the COG's last bastion for humanity. After the credits roll though, Adam Phoenix, long thought to be dead, sends out a radio message. Upon asking if anyone can hear him, he then states, "What have you done?" with horror. Naturally, this sets up the events of Gears of War 3. The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. If you manage to collect all 13 memories as part of the Captured Memories quest, then a secret post-credits scene will be unlocked. It sees Zelda and Link preparing to travel to Zora's domain with the help of Vah Ruta. Zelda believes that Hyrule can be restored to its former glory following the defeat of Ganon, and while her powers have dwindled, she seems happy to accept it. Perhaps this ties into the events of the sequel, but again, it'll be a while before we know for sure. Soma. The ending for Soma is fairly depressing. The brain scans for Simon and Catherine have been sent to the Ark, but both still remain on Earth, underwater in Pathos 2. Oh, and because of an argument, Catherine dies, leaving Simon alone. Things seem despondent until the post-credits scene reveals the two, or at least their copies, reuniting on the Ark. Everything seems hunky-dory as the Ark leaves Earth and ventures through space, but is everything really fine like this? The Evil Within 2. Given all the torment that Sebastian went through in this series, it's nice to see him reunited with his daughter Lily and starting a new life. However, even though Mobius was seemingly destroyed, the stim system seemingly reactivates after the credits. What gives? Does it have anything to do with Ruvik, who absorbed Leslie in the first game and possibly escaped into the real world at the end? No one knows, and with Tango Gameworks currently focused on Ghostwire Tokyo, we're not getting any answers anytime soon. Resident Evil Village. While Resident Evil 7 Biohazard had a simple article after the credits that provide more details on Evelyn, Resident Evil Village goes much further. It actually jumps forward several years with Rosemary, now a teenager, visiting Ethan's grave. Suddenly, she's called for a mission, and after hinting at some ability that even Chris doesn't know about, accompanies her escort. Their vehicle stops in the distance when a figure is seen approaching, and some are theorizing that this may be Ethan. It's all speculation at this point, but with how much punishment he endured, we wouldn't put it past Ethan cheating death again to reunite with his daughter. Nier Replicant, Ending B. With the number of endings in Nier, both the original and its remake, Nier Replicant version 1.22474487139, you have to wonder which post-credit scene was the most significant. Our vote goes to the scene after Ending B. After Emil sacrifices himself to save his friends, he's thought to be no more. However, after the credits, his head plops down into the desert, alive and well as he seeks to reunite with the protagonist and Kaine. With the remake's new ending, Emil gets his wish, reuniting with Kaine and helping to resurrect the protagonist. The Legend of Heroes Trails of Cold Steel 4. A lot happens at the end of The Legend of Heroes Trails of Cold Steel 4, the true ending, that is. Whether it's Reen and friends finally beating Ishmelga, the source of Erebonia's curse in an epic battle, or the wedding slideshow for Oliver and Sherazard. However, after the credits, we're treated to a meeting between Anguisse of Ouroboros and the Grand Master presiding. It's not all that different from Trails in the Sky, the third, except this time, the Grand Master is actually shown and seems to bear a resemblance to Adios. She then proclaims that only 3 years remain before Zemuria is returned to primordial nothingness and begins the eternal recurrence plan. The heroes may have given the world more time, but the society's plans are still underway. So, what are your thoughts on this? Go ahead and share them in the comments below. And if you liked this video, please subscribe to the channel and enable all notifications by clicking the bell icon to get new video updates. We upload every day and would really appreciate your support. Thanks for watching.